The day she came back, the sky was very quiet. It was a soft, gray afternoon, the kind of day when the sun is hiding behind the clouds, and the world feels heavy, like it is also tired. I had just finished my Asr prayer. My knees hurt more these days, but my heart feels lighter when my forehead touches the ground. I was making dua, as I always did. Ya Allah, forgive my children, guide them, protect them. Ya Allah, if there is any hardness in their hearts towards me, please melt it. And if I am wrong, show me my mistakes. I was still sitting on the prayer mat when I heard a knock on the door. I thought it was the neighbor's little boy. Sometimes he brings me bread from the bakery. Sometimes it is the postman leaving a bill or a letter for the people upstairs. I did not hurry. My bones do not move fast now, but the knock came again, this time slower. 3 soft, shaky knocks. I got up, put on my scarf properly, and walked to the door. My heart began to beat in a strange way. I do not know why. Maybe the soul can feel what the eyes have not seen yet. I opened the door just a little first, like I always do. I am an old woman living alone. It is better to be careful. But when I saw who was standing there, my hand dropped from the handle. For a moment, I forgot how to breathe. There she was, my Lena, or what was left of her. Her face looked smaller. Her cheeks, once full and pink, were now hollow. There were lines on her forehead that did not belong to a woman of her age. Her scarf was not neat like before. It slipped a little to one side. Her eyes, those big, bright eyes that used to laugh at everything, now looked tired, afraid, wet. She opened her mouth, but at first no words came out, only air. Then, finally, in a broken whisper, she said, "Assalamu alaikum, Mama. Mama." I heard that word after 10 years. The last time I heard her voice, she was screaming that she wished she was never my daughter, that I had ruined her life, that I was dead to her. Now she stood at my door, hands shaking, lips trembling. I could see she had been crying for a long time. Can I come in?" she asked. "Please, Mama. I came to ask for your forgiveness." My legs felt weak. For a second I thought I might fall. The hallway, the walls, the world began to move slowly around me. I held the door frame, and inside my chest, memories rushed like a flood. How do you answer the child who broke you? How do you answer the child you prayed for every night, even when she cursed you? How do you answer the person who left and then comes back when life has burned them? I looked at her, and in that moment, I was no longer the old woman standing at the door. I was a younger mother again, holding a newborn baby, kissing a little girl's forehead, combing long, dark hair before school. I was standing in my past, and I knew, to tell you this story properly, I cannot start from the door. I must start from the beginning. But before I go back, let me ask you kindly, if you feel touched by stories of real hearts, real pain, and real faith, please follow Voices of Fatima, like this video, and share it with someone who might need it. And tell me in the comments, if someone hurt you deeply and then came back years later asking for forgiveness, what would you do? Now, let me take you back to where it all began. I was not always an old woman sitting alone with her prayer mat. Once, I was a young wife, a young mother, a woman who ran around the house all day, with flour on her hands and laughter in her kitchen. We lived in a small apartment then. The walls were thin, the paint was old, and the windows let in a bit of dust with the light. But to me, it was a palace. Because in that house, I had my husband, Ibrahim, and 3 children, my eldest daughter Lena, my son Yusuf, and little Maryam. Ibrahim was not a rich man, but he was an honest one. He worked long hours in a shop. Every morning, after Fajr prayer, He would sit on the edge of the bed, putting on his shoes, and I would tie his laces for him, just to feel needed. He would smile, touch my head gently, and say, "Make dua for me today too, Fatima. Rizqa comes from Allah, but your dua makes it sweeter." Our life was simple. We did not eat meat every day. Sometimes it was lentils, sometimes just bread and tea with sugar. But on Fridays, I would cook something special. The children knew that Friday meant a nice smell from the kitchen, the sound of Quran playing on the small radio, the house clean, the sheets fresh, the heart soft. Lena was my first child, my gift from Allah. I still remember the first time I held her. Her tiny fingers grabbed my thumb so tight, as if she was scared I would let her go. I cried that day from happiness and fear together. Happiness because Allah trusted me with this little soul. Fear because I knew I was not perfect, and this child deserved the best. Lena grew up fast. She was smarter than me, I always said that. She spoke early. She asked questions about everything. "Mama, why does the moon follow us when we walk? Mama, where does Allah live? Mama, why do you cry sometimes when you make dua?" I would answer her in simple words, like I am speaking to you now. I did not have fancy answers, but I had a heart full of love, and I hoped that was enough. From a young age, Lena liked to help me. She would stand on a small stool near the kitchen counter, her little hands mixing batter for cake. "Is this how you did it with your mama?" she would ask me. "Yes," I would tell her. And she did it with her mama. "We pass love with food, my daughter. That is how women in our family show care. We feed people." At night, after Isha, when the house was finally quiet and the younger two had fallen asleep, Lena would sit with me at the table, books open. "Mama, can you help me with this math problem?" she would say, pushing the notebook towards me. I would look at the numbers and laugh. "Ya Allah, Lena, your mama's brain is old. I don't know this new way, but we will figure it out together, okay?" We would sit there, our heads touching, trying to solve one problem. Sometimes we failed, but she always tried again. I used to look at her and think, when I am old, this girl will be my eyes, my hands, my support. In our culture, people say sons carry the family name, but daughters carry the mother's heart. I believed that with all my soul. As she grew older, her beauty began to shine in a different way. Not only her face, but her mind, her manners. When we would go to family gatherings, people would say, "Fatima, mashallah, your Lena is so calm, so respectful, so clever. You are lucky." And I was. I felt rich because of her. Then, when Lena was about 12, our life changed. My husband, Ibrahim, became sick. It started with small things. He would come home more tired than usual. He would sit on the chair and press his hand to his chest. "I'm just tired, Fatima," he would say when I asked him. "The shop was busy today. I just need some rest." But rest did not fix it. One evening, he came home very late. His face was pale, and there was sweat on his forehead even though it was winter. I stood in the hallway, wiping my hands on my apron. "You're late," I said, trying to sound light. "The rice is cold now." He smiled, but it was a weak smile. "I'm sorry," he said softly. "The doctor kept me." I froze. "The doctor?" I repeated. "Why? What happened?" He looked at me, then looked at the children sitting on the floor in the living room, watching television. He lowered his voice. "Later," he said. "Let them eat first. I don't want to worry them." But the truth cannot stay hidden for long. That night, after the children had gone to bed and the house was quiet, Ibrahim told me he had a heart problem. The doctor had warned him to rest more. to avoid stress, to take medicine we could barely afford. I felt something heavy enter our life that night, like a guest that comes without invitation and never leaves. I tried to be strong. I told myself, Allah is testing us. We will pass this test with sabr, with patience. But tests sometimes get harder. Ibrahim's health went up and down. Some days he was almost his old self, laughing with the children, drinking his tea, asking me to put extra sugar, even though the doctor had said no. Some days he was so weak he could not get out of bed. Lena saw everything. She started helping even more. She would walk Yusuf and Mariam to school when I had to take her father to the clinic. She would wash dishes without being asked. She started cooking simple meals. One afternoon, I walked into the kitchen and found her stirring a pot of lentils. "Lena, you're only 13, I told her. "Go study. I will do this." She shook her head. "You have Baba to take care of," she said. "Let me help, Mama. I'm not a baby." I looked at her, apron tied around her slim waist, hair tied back, a little serious line between her eyebrows, and my heart broke with love and sadness. "Ya Allah," I prayed inside. "Protect this child. Reward her for every small thing she does." When Ibrahim died, it was a cold morning. He had gone to the masjid for Fajr prayer, as he always did when he felt a little strong. He loved praying in the masjid. He said the peace there calmed his heart. That day, he never came back. They told me he had sat in a corner after prayer, put his hand on his chest, took one deep breath, and then he was gone. Just like that. No goodbye. I remember the sound of the soil hitting the wood of his grave. Thud, thud, thud. With every sound, it felt like something inside me was being buried too. After everyone left, I sat on the floor of our living room, still in my black clothes, unable to move. What would I do now? How would I feed these children? How would I pay rent? Who would fix broken things? Who would stand between me and the world? And then I felt a small hand on my shoulder. It was Lena. She was only 14. She sat next to me and leaned her head on my arm. "Mama," she whispered, voice trembling. "Baba is with Allah now. You always told us this life is a test. Maybe this is our test now. I will help you, Mama, I promise. I will study hard. I will get a good job. I will take care of you. I will never leave you alone." Those words. I will never leave you alone. They became like a rope I held on to in my dark days. From that day, our house changed again. We no longer had a man's shoes at the door. No deep male voice calling, "Assalamu alaikum," in the evening. No strong hands opening tight jars or fixing broken cupboards. Now it was just me and the children. The world does not look at a widow the same way. Some people pity you. Some people avoid you, as if your sadness is a disease they might catch. Some men think they have the right to talk to you in ways they never would if your husband was alive. I felt more alone than I had ever felt in my life. But inside my home, I tried to make it a place of peace. Every morning, I woke the children for Fajr. We prayed together in the small living room, standing shoulder to shoulder. After prayer, we would sit for a few minutes, each making our own dua. I would ask Allah for strength, for rizq, for sabr. I would ask Him to keep my children safe from bad friends, from bad choices, from bad hearts. Years passed like this. Lena grew more beautiful, but not in the way of fancy clothes or makeup. There was a light in her face, a seriousness when she talked, a kindness when she listened. She was quiet, but when she spoke, people listened. She studied hard. She would stay up late, books open, sometimes falling asleep with her head on the table. I would wake up at night to use the bathroom and find her like that. I would put a blanket over her shoulders and whisper, "Ya Allah." make her path easy. The day she got her exam results, she ran into the house, her eyes bright, the way they used to be when she was little. "Mama," she shouted, "I got the highest marks in my class. I can go to university." I grabbed her and held her tight. "Alhamdulillah," I cried. "Alhamdulillah, my daughter. Your father would be so proud of you." I was proud, and also a little afraid. University meant a new world, new people, new ideas, new dangers. I had heard stories of girls being led astray. I did not want to control her like a prisoner, but I also did not want to lose her to a world that does not care about mother's tears. I sat her down that evening. "Lena," I said gently, holding her hand, "I am very proud of you. You worked hard. Allah has opened a door for you. But promise me something." She looked at me with those deep eyes. "Anything, Mama," she said. "Promise me you will not forget who you are," I said. "You are a Muslim. You are a daughter. You are a sister. Do your studies. Yes. Make friends. Yes. But do not forget your salah. Do not forget your hijab. Do not forget your home. Do not forget me." She smiled, squeezed my hand. "How could I ever forget you, Mama?" she said. "You're my best friend. Best friend." Those words warmed me and scared me at the same time. Because sometimes, the people we love the most are the ones who can hurt us the deepest. When she started university, our routine changed. In the mornings, she would rush out of the house, her bag on her shoulder, a notebook in her hand, kissing my cheek quickly. "Assalamu alaikum, Mama. Make dua for me." "Wa alaikum assalam, my heart," I would call after her. "Allah be with you." I would stand at the window and watch her disappear down the street, a small figure in a big world. In the afternoons, when she came back, she would tell me about her classes. "Mama," today my professor said, "Mama, we learned about. Mama, there is this girl in my class who—" I loved listening to her. It was like hearing about a country I would never visit. But slowly, very slowly, I started to notice small changes. Sometimes she would come home later than usual. "Oh, we had a group project," she would say quickly. I had to stay. Sometimes she would go to her room and close the door, talking on her phone in a low voice. When I knocked, she would open, smile a little too wide, and say, "Yes, Mama? Do you need something?" Once, I picked up her scarf from the chair and noticed a light smell of perfume I did not know. Small things. Nothing I could point a finger at and say, "This is wrong." But a mother's heart feels what the eyes cannot see. I told myself, she is growing. She is meeting new people. It is normal. I did not want to be the kind of mother who suspects every move. I wanted her to trust me, not fear me. So I waited. I watched. I made dua. I did not know then that a storm was already forming, far away, moving slowly towards our peaceful, quiet home. I did not know that soon, this girl who called me her best friend would one day slam the door in my face, scream words that would echo in my heart for years, and disappear from my life. All I knew then was the sound of the kettle boiling in the kitchen, the smell of tea and cardamom, the soft light of the afternoon sun coming through the curtains, and my daughter's voice from her room, laughing at something on the phone. I wish I had known. Maybe I would have held her a little tighter. Maybe I would have asked more questions. Maybe nothing would have changed. Because some things are written to happen. That is the thing about Qadr, destiny. We only see it clearly when it has already broken us. When I look back now, I can see the small signs clearly. At that time, they were like tiny cracks in a wall. You ignore them, you say. It's nothing. until one day the whole wall falls on your head. Lena's second year of university was when the first real change came. One afternoon, I was in the kitchen making tea. The smell of cardamom filled the air, the way it always did. I heard the front door open, then quick footsteps. Lena's voice, lighter than usual. "Mama, I'm home." I wiped my hands and came out, smiling. "Alhamdulillah. How was your—" I stopped. There was a girl standing behind her. Tall, slim, with a bright-colored scarf loosely wrapped around her hair. Lipstick on, perfume strong like it was trying to introduce her before she spoke. "This is my friend Sarah," Lena said quickly. "From my class. I told you about her." I had never heard the name before, but I did not say that. I smiled and said, "Assalamu alaikum, daughter," she answered. "Wa alaikum assalam." But her eyes went around the house, looking at everything like she was judging it. The old sofa, the simple curtains, the small television with a line across the screen. "Please, come, sit," I said, trying to ignore the way her mouth pressed a little when she saw our furniture. They sat down, and I went back to the kitchen to bring tea. As I walked, I could hear their voices. "It's so small," Sarah said, not even trying to be quiet. "You really live here with your whole family?" "Yes," Lena answered. "We grew up here." Sarah laughed a little. "You're too smart to stay in a place like this," she said. "You should be in a big house, with your own room, your own bathroom. You deserve more." I stopped for a moment behind the wall, my hand tightening around the tray. I heard Lena say softly, "Insha'Allah, one day." I carried the tea to them and set the tray down gently. "Here you go," I said. "Drink, both of you. You must be tired from classes." Sarah thanked me, but her eyes were still moving around the room, like she was searching for something better. I sat for a bit, asking her about her family, trying to be polite. Her father had a company. Her mother did not work. They had a big house in a nicer part of the city. She talked about travel, shopping, cafes. It was like listening to a story from a different world. When she left, I walked her to the door. "Come again," I said. "You are welcome here anytime." She smiled quickly. "Thank you, Auntie," she said. "Maybe next time Lena will come to my house. There is more space." I nodded and closed the door. Inside, Lena was already in her room, door half closed. I went to the kitchen, washed the cups, and tried to calm my heart. That night, when she came to the kitchen for dinner, I asked gently, "So, this Sarah is your new friend?" Lena nodded, taking a plate. "Yes," she said. "She's nice. She helps me with some classes." I hesitated, then said, "She looks different from your other friends. Is she a good girl?" Lena frowned a little. "What do you mean by good?" she asked. "You know," I said slowly, "does she pray? Does she respect her parents? Does she have good behavior?" Lena sighed. "Mama, this is not the village," she said. "Not everyone is the same. She's not like us, but she's kind. And she respects me. Isn't that enough?" Maybe it should have been. Maybe I was too old-fashioned. But my heart did not feel easy. I said, "Just be careful, Lena. Not everyone who smiles at you loves you. Remember that." She rolled her eyes slightly, then quickly controlled herself, but I saw it. It was the first time I saw that look. That little flash of, "You don't understand, Mama." It hurt more than I expected. Days turned into weeks. Lena began to spend more time outside. "I have to meet my group," she would say. "We have a project. It's just coffee after class, Mama. Everyone goes." She would come home, sometimes with the smell of a cafe on her clothes. Sweet things, vanilla, chocolate. Once, I saw a paper bag from a place I had only seen from the bus window. It was the kind of shop I would never enter. Too expensive. "Who bought this?" I asked, lifting the bag gently. "Sarah," Lena said. "She had a discount. Don't worry, Mama. I didn't pay." Still, my heart was not at peace. One evening, she came home wearing a new abaya. It was more stylish, tighter at the waist than I liked, with shiny buttons. I looked at it and knew this was not something we could afford. "Where did you get this?" I asked. She touched the sleeve, as if enjoying the fabric. "A friend gave it," she said, "as a gift." "What friend?" I pressed. She hesitated for a second too long. "Sarah," she said finally. "Her aunt has a shop. She gets many things for free." I said nothing, but I watched. It was not just the clothes. It was the way she was walking, the way she was talking, a new confidence, a new sharpness. Sometimes, I would hear her on the phone late at night, voice low. I would knock. "Lena?" The phone would go silent. I would hear quick movement. "Yes, Mama?" she would call. "I'm just studying." Studying. I wanted to believe her so badly. One afternoon, she left her bag on the chair and went to the bathroom. I was cleaning the living room. As I moved the bag to dust the chair, her phone screen lit up. A message popped up. "Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Miss you already." And a heart. Not a girl's name, a man's. My hand froze. My first instinct was to drop the phone, pretend I saw nothing. But then I thought of all the stories I had heard. Girls trusting the wrong men. Sweet words turning into bitter lives. I picked up the phone. My heart was beating so fast I could hear it in my ears. There were messages. Many messages. His name was Omar. "Did you eat? You looked so beautiful today. I hate when you leave. If your mother really loved you, she would let you live your life. We don't need anyone. I will take care of you." Some messages were older, weeks old. This was not new. Some were worse. "I don't care if your mother doesn't agree. You're an adult. You don't need her permission. We can marry in secret. You will be free." Free? Free from what? From me? From the woman who carried her, who wiped her tears, who buried her father. I felt like someone had put their hand inside my chest and squeezed my heart until I could not breathe. The bathroom door opened. Lena came out, drying her hands with a towel, humming a little. When she saw me holding her phone, the towel slipped from her fingers. "Mama, what are you doing with my phone?" she asked, her voice suddenly cold. I turned the screen towards her. "Who is Omar?" I asked. Her face changed. All the color went out of it. "He's a friend," she said. "Just a friend." "A friend?" I repeated. My voice was shaking now, but I tried to keep it steady. "These are not words for a friend, Lena." She stepped forward quickly and took the phone from my hand. "You shouldn't look at my messages," she snapped. "This is my private life. Private life." I stared at her. "I am your mother," I said softly. "There is nothing private when it comes to your safety, your honor, your future. You are talking to a strange man in secret. Do you think this is okay?" She crossed her arms. "He's not a stranger," she said. "We study together. He's a good person. He respects me." I remembered the messages again. "If your mother really loved you, she would let you live your life. We don't need anyone. Good people don't turn daughters against their mothers," I said quietly. She looked away. "You wouldn't understand," she muttered. I stepped closer. "Then help me understand," I said, trying to soften my voice. "Sit with me. Tell me who he is. Where is his family? What does he want with you?" She shook her head. Mama, you live in another time, she said, her eyes filling with anger. You think every man and woman must be strangers until a marriage is arranged by the family. The world is not like that anymore. People meet in university. They fall in love. They choose each other. Her words were like knives, not because of the ideas, but because of the way she said them. Like I was stupid, like my values were old shoes to be thrown away. Islam does not get old, I said firmly. Respect between men and women does not get old. We are not playing games with hearts here, Lena. This is serious. If he is honest, let him come with his family. Let him knock on our door like a man with honor, not hide, like a thief in your phone. Her eyes flashed. You know we're poor, she said sharply. You know father is dead. No rich man's family will look at us. If you don't let me choose, I'll end up alone with you in this small house forever. Alone with you. She said it like a punishment. Silence fell between us like a heavy blanket. My legs felt weak. All my life, I said slowly, quietly. I worked, I sacrificed, I ate less so you could eat more. I stayed awake worrying when you were late. I didn't remarry so no man would ever mistreat you. And now you speak about being stuck with me like I am a burden you must escape. She looked a little guilty for a second, but pride quickly covered it. That's not what I meant, she said. You always twist my words. I closed my eyes for a moment. Lena, I said, opening them again, stop talking to this man in secret. If he is serious, tell him to come to our home. If he is not, break it off today. I will not allow my daughter to be played by any man. She stiffened. You can't control my life, she said. I'm not a child. You are my child, I answered. Until I die, you are my child, and I will answer to Allah for you. I cannot watch you walk into fire and say nothing. Her hand tightened around the phone. I knew you wouldn't understand, she muttered. This is exactly why I didn't tell you. You don't want me to be happy. You just want me to be your servant, to cook, clean, and live in this old house forever. Enough, I said, my voice suddenly tired. Go to your room. Think, pray, make istikhara. And remember, whatever you do, the consequences will be yours, not your friend's, not that man's, yours. She looked at me with eyes I did not recognize, hard, closed. Then she turned and went to her room, slamming the door shut. The sound made the walls shake. I sat down on the chair and covered my face with my brang hands. Ya Allah, I whispered. I am weak. My words are weak. My heart is weak. Please, protect my daughter from herself, from shaitan, from people who use sweet words for ugly things. Please, turn her heart back to me, if there is any goodness left between us. That night, she did not come to sit with us in the living room. She did not eat dinner with us. I knocked on her door once, but she said, I'm studying. I'm not hungry. I stood there, my fingers touching the wood of the door, wanting to break it down and hold her, wanting to leave her alone and let her learn her own lessons. I did neither. I just left, went to my room, and cried into my pillow so the younger two would not hear. Days turned into a strange new routine. She still went to university. She still slept in the same room. But something inside her had shifted. She guarded her phone like it was a part of her body. She smiled less at home. She talked less to me, more to others. Once, I tried a different way. I made her favorite dish, the one her father used to love too. The house smelled like old times. When she came in, I saw her nostrils flare a little. Your favorite, I said with a small smile. Come, eat. She sat, took a plate. Yusuf and Mariam were already there, chatting. I watched her, waiting for her to soften. "Mama," she said suddenly in the middle of the meal, "I need to ask you something." My heart jumped. "Yes?" "If," she said slowly, choosing her words, "if I found a good man who loves me, who respects me, but he is not from our exact background, would you accept him?" I took a breath. "If he is of good religion and character, yes," I said. "But he must fear Allah, respect me, and come in a clear and honorable way. I will not accept lying, secrets, or disrespect." She looked down at her plate. "So if I married someone," she said, "you would come to my wedding? You would not make trouble?" I looked at her face. It was careful, like someone hiding something behind a curtain. "Lena," I said softly, "what are you asking me?" She shook her head too fast. "Nothing," she said. "Just a question." We finished dinner quietly. That night, I lay in bed and stared at the ceiling, counting the cracks. I thought of calling my brother, asking him to talk to her. I thought of going to the imam and asking for advice, but shame held my tongue. I did not want people to know that my sweet, respectful daughter was now a stranger living in my own house. I decided to wait, to watch, to pray more. I did not know that while I was making dua for guidance, Lena was already making her own plan. It began with the gold. Every mother in our culture has a small box hidden deep in a cupboard or under old clothes. Inside it, there is not only metal, there is security, there is hope, there is just in case. My box had a few bracelets, a necklace from my own mother, the earrings Ibrahim gave me when Lena was born, and a thin chain he bought me on our 10th anniversary. Nothing huge, but for me, it was everything. One day, I went to look for it. I wanted to sell one piece. Rent was late. My cleaning work had been slow. The landlord had already given a warning. I opened the cupboard, moved the old clothes, reached into the corner. The box was not there. My heart jumped. Maybe I had moved it. I searched the whole cupboard, then the other cupboard, then the drawers. I started to feel cold inside. It was gone. I stood in the middle of my bedroom, my hands shaking. There were only 4 people who knew I kept a box: me, Ibrahim, who was now dead, and Lena. Because once she had seen me counting the pieces. I had told her, "This is for emergencies after I am gone, so you will not be left with nothing." The younger 2 were too young to know. My mind went straight to one place, but my heart refused to accept it. No, not her. I went to her room. She was at her desk, pretending to study. "Lena," I said, trying to keep my voice calm, though it came out thin. "Did you move my jewelry box?" She looked up, frowning. "What jewelry box?" she asked. "The one from my cupboard," I said. "You know the one. The red one with the gold edge." She looked me straight in the eye. "I didn't touch it," she said. Something in her face twitched. Just a little. If I didn't know her from the day she was born, I might have missed it. "Are you sure?" I whispered. Her eyes hardened. "Why would I touch your things?" She said. "Do you think I stole it or something?" The word hung in the air. Stole. I swallowed. "I didn't say that." I lied. I can't find it. I thought maybe you moved it when you cleaned." "I have my own things to worry about," she snapped. "I don't have time to search through your old boxes. Maybe you lost it." Lost it. That box was the one thing I checked every few months, just to be sure it was still there. I knew exactly where it had been. I knew I had not lost it. My eyes began to sting. "Lena," I said softly, "look at me." She didn't. "Please," I whispered. "If you took it, if you needed money, you could have asked me. We could have sold it together. I would have never refused you." She stood up suddenly, the chair scraping the floor. I told you I didn't touch it, she shouted. You always blame me for everything. Maybe someone else came in. Maybe Yusuf. Why don't you ask him? Because you always think he's an angel, and I'm the bad one. My mouth opened. Subhanallah, Lena, I said. How can you say that? When have I ever called you bad? All the time, she cried. Every look, every word. You judge my friends, you judge my choices, you act like I'm some kind of shame on this house. Her voice broke on the last word. We stared at each other, too, people standing on opposite sides of a deep hole that had opened between us. I took a breath. I am not your enemy, I said quietly. Whatever you think, I am not your enemy. I am your mother. I want what is best for you, even if you hate me for it. Maybe I do, she whispered, her face twisted with a mixture of anger and pain. Maybe I do hate you. The words hit me like a slap. My ears rang. Before I could speak, she grabbed her bag and phone. I'm going out, she said. Where? I asked. Away from here, she said. And she left, slamming the door behind her. Hours passed. Night fell. She did not return. I called her phone. No answer. I texted. No reply. Yusuf and Mariam kept asking, Where is Lena, Mama? I lied and said, She's at a friend's house. She'll be back. Inside, my heart was tearing. Around midnight I heard keys at the door. I rushed out. It was her. Her face was calm, too calm. Her eyes were dry. Where were you? I demanded. Do you know how worried I was? I thought something happened to you. I'm fine, she said shortly. You can stop pretending you care so much. I'm going to bed. She walked past me. As she did, I smelled perfume. Stronger than usual. And something else. A man's cologne. Faint, but there. Lena, I said, my voice shaking. Are you meeting that man? Omar? She didn't answer. Answer me, I said. She turned around, her face suddenly full of hardness I had never seen before. Yes, she said. Yes, I met him. We had coffee. We talked. He listened to me when you didn't. He made me feel like I'm worth something. My chest hurt. You are worth something to me, I said. You are worth everything to me. Then why do I feel like I'm in prison in this house? She shot back. Why do I feel like every step I take, you are behind me, judging? This is not prison, I said quietly. This is your home. It's your home, she said. Not mine. Not anymore. She turned and went to her room, closing the door softly this time. Soft was worse than slam. I stood alone in the hallway, the sound of her words echoing. Not mine. Not anymore. I wanted to scream. I wanted to break things. Instead, I went to my prayer mat. When the world becomes too loud, that is where I go. I stood and prayed 2 rakat. Then I sat, lifted my hands, and cried. Ya Allah, I whispered. You know what is in my heart. You know I am not trying to control her for my ego. You know I am only afraid for her. Please, if this man is good for her, make it easy, and bring him in a halal way. And if he is bad for her, break this connection, even if it breaks her heart and mine. It is a dangerous dua, you know, to say, break this if it's bad. Because sometimes Allah answers by breaking things you never thought would break. The next weeks were like living on a rope over fire. Sometimes, Lena was almost her old self. She would sit with Mariam, help her with homework, tell Yusuf about job opportunities. Sometimes, she would laugh at something on TV, and for a moment, I would see my little girl again. Then the phone would buzz, and her face would close. She would go to her room, and the door would shut. I tried not to check her phone again. I tried to trust to believe that my dua would be enough protection. But deep inside, I felt something dark growing. One Sunday, she came to me with a strange calm on her face. "Mama, can we talk?" she asked. Her voice was flat, too flat. My stomach tightened. "Yes," I said slowly. "Sit." She sat opposite me at the table. Her hands were folded in her lap. She did not meet my eyes. "I have decided something," she said. My heart pounded. "I'm getting married," she said. I gripped the edge of the table. "To who?" I asked, though I already knew. "To Omar," she said. "We love each other. He asked me to marry him." I closed my eyes, took a deep breath. "Where is his family?" I asked. "What do they do? Have I met them?" "Have you met them properly?" He doesn't speak much to his family," she said quickly. "They are complicated. But he is working. He has a job. He can take care of me." The lies were thin. I could hear the holes. "Lena," I said quietly, "did you make istikhara?" "Yes," she lied again. "And what did your heart feel?" "That I should marry him," she said. I watched her. I knew my daughter. Her eyes were not steady. Her hands were shaking. "Bring him here," I said. "Let me talk to him. If he is a man of honor, he will not hide behind you. He will come, sit, drink tea, and say, 'I want to marry your daughter.' That is the way of men, not boys." She bit her lip. He doesn't want to face your insults," she said. "He knows you hate him already, even without knowing." "I don't hate him," I said. "I hate this way, this secret way, this hiding. This is not love, Lena. This is fear." Suddenly, her calm broke. "You don't understand anything," she cried. "You never listen. You just repeat the same words about honor and shame. I'm tired, Mama. I'm tired of living for your fear." Tears came to her eyes. Real tears. "I want my own life," she whispered. "I want someone to choose me, not just accept me because I cook and clean well. Omar chose me. He sees me. And if you don't give me your blessing," she swallowed, "then I will marry him without it." The room went silent. Those words, "without it," it was like a knife pressed on the rope that was already thin between us. "Lena," I said, my voice hoarse, "if you walk out of this house and marry him without my knowledge, without my blessing, you are not just breaking my heart. You are breaking your father's trust. You are breaking our home. You are breaking everything." She wiped her tears angrily. "It was already broken," she said. We looked at each other for a long time. I wanted to grab her and lock her in her room until she forgot this man. I wanted to let her go and let the world teach her what I could not. I wanted both things at the same time. In the end, I only said, "I will not stand in your door if you decide to walk out. I will not hold your clothes and drag you back. But I will not open my door wide for this man, either. You choose. But remember, choices come with prices." She stood up slowly. "I knew you'd say that," she said. "You always choose your pride over my happiness." She turned and walked away. That was the last calm conversation we had. The actual breaking did not happen in one day. It happened in pieces. One afternoon, a neighbor came to my door. "Fatima," she said, "I saw Lena on the street yesterday." "And?" I asked, trying to keep my face neutral. "She was with a man," she said. "They were walking very close. People were looking." Heat rose to my face. "Maybe it was her classmate," I said weakly. "Maybe they were on the way to the library." The neighbor looked at me with eyes that had seen too much life to believe such easy answers. "Be careful," she said kindly. "You are a good woman. Your daughter was a good girl. but the city is full of wolves in nice clothes. That night, I confronted Lena. People saw you with Omar in the street, I said. Do you have no shame? Do you want this whole neighborhood to talk about us? She exploded. I don't care what they say, she shouted. They talk anyway. When Baba died, they talked. When you didn't remarry, they talked. When I go to university, they talk. Let them drown in their dirty words. I will not live my life to make them happy. Have you no respect for your father's name? I cried. For your little sister? For your own dignity? My dignity is not in their eyes, she shouted back. My dignity is in my choices, and I choose him. Our words hit each other like stones. Yusuf and Mariam stayed in their room, silent, pretending not to hear, but I knew they did. The next day, Lena did not come home after university. I waited. Maghrib came. Isha came. No, Lena. I called her phone. It rang, then went to voicemail. I felt like an animal trapped in a cage. Around midnight, my phone rang. An unknown number. Assalamu alaikum, I answered, my voice shaking. A man's voice. Wa alaikum assalam. Are you Lena's mother? He asked. Yes, I said, my heart pounding. Who is this? Is she okay? This is Omar, he said. My hand tightened on the phone. Where is my daughter? I asked, each word sharp. She's with me, he said. She is safe. We got married today. For a moment, I thought I had heard wrong. Married. I felt the world tilt. What did you say? I whispered. We went to the sheikh, he said. There were witnesses. It was halal. She agreed. No one forced her. She is my wife now. My legs gave up. I sat down on the floor. Give her the phone, I said. There was a pause. Then her voice came. Thin. Shaky. Assalamu alaikum, Mama. I felt like I was falling into a deep well. Lena, I whispered. What have you done? I got married, she said. I love him, Mama. I couldn't wait anymore for you to accept. I'm sorry, but I had to choose my own life. I could not find words for a minute. My tongue felt heavy. Where are you? I asked finally. In his place, she said. Please don't shout. Please don't say bad things. It's done now. Tears streamed down my face. It is not about shouting, I said. It is about the way you did it, like a thief in the night, without your family, without your brother, without anyone who loves you. Do you think starting a life like this will bring you happiness? She was silent. You took my gold, didn't you? I said suddenly, the realization striking me like lightning. You sold it for this marriage. Silence again. Then, very quietly, yes. I closed my eyes. My chest hurt so much I pressed my hand to it. That gold was your father's gift, I said. His sweat, his work. You took it without a word. You left me with nothing. I'm sorry, she said. I was going to tell you, but you would have said no. We needed the money for the rent deposit. Omar will pay you back. I promise. I almost laughed. You stole from your own mother, I said, my voice breaking. You lied to me. You hid everything. You walked out of this house like a stranger. And you call this love? On the other side, I could hear her breathing. I didn't want to hurt you, she said. But you gave me no choice. It was either my life or your fear. Don't turn yourself into a victim in this story, I snapped, a bitterness I did not know I had rising. You had a choice, many choices. You chose the easiest one for your desires, not the hardest one for your heart. She began to cry. Mama, please, she said. Please don't curse me. Please don't say I'm not your daughter. Please. I went quiet. Even in that moment when I wanted to scream, wanted to throw the phone, wanted to say, "You are dead to me," something held my tongue. I thought of all the stories of mothers who cursed their children in anger, of how Allah might accept a broken mother's dua. I was angry, but I was also afraid. "I will not curse you," I said finally, my voice trembling. "I am not like you. I will not take my pain and make it into a weapon. But listen to me, Lena. The way you treat people will come back to you one day. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. But life is a circle. Remember that when you are a mother yourself, if Allah gives you children," she sobbed. "Can I come visit?" she asked. "Not now, but later, when things are calmer." Can I still be your daughter?" The pain in my chest was like fire. "My door is open," I said slowly. "But my trust, that will take more than words to fix." We ended the call. I put the phone down and let out a sound I did not know I had in me. A cry that was not just from my throat, but from my bones. Yusuf came out, pale. "What happened, Mama?" he asked. "Your sister got married," I said. "Without us." He stared at me, his jaw clenched. "To that man?" he said. "That Omar?" "Yes," I whispered. He punched the wall, then immediately looked sorry. Mariam stood in the hallway, her eyes big with fear. "Is Lena gone?" she whispered. I could not answer. In the days that followed, the news spread. Not because I told everyone, but because secrets like this leak through doors. Some people came to say, "May Allah put barakah in their marriage." Some came to ask, with fake concern, "Why didn't you go to your own daughter's wedding?" Some came to bring stories of other girls who ran away, who came back divorced, who never came back at all. I listened politely. I nodded. I said, "Qadr Allah, what can we do?" Inside, I was bleeding. Weeks passed. Lena did not come. Sometimes she called, short calls. "How are you, Mama?" "Fine." "Are Yusuf and Mariam okay?" "Yes." "Omar is looking for a better job." "Alhamdulillah." Our words had become like small stones, heavy, useless. Then one afternoon, the doorbell rang. I opened it. 2 men stood there, one in a suit, holding a folder, the other in a uniform. "Are you Fatima, mother of Lena?" the man in the suit asked. "Yes," I said slowly. "What is this about?" He opened the folder. "We have received a complaint," he said. "Your daughter says you are withholding her inheritance from her, that you are emotionally abusing her, that you tried to force her into another marriage before she married by her own choice." The hallway spun. "What?" I whispered. "What are you saying?" He showed me some papers. There, in black ink, was my daughter's name, her signature. "She says you are refusing to give her what is rightfully hers from her father's estate," he continued. "We must investigate this." I felt like someone had slapped me again and again. "My husband left almost nothing," I said. "We had some land in the village. We sold a part to survive. The rest is in all the children's names. I have never eaten a penny of what belongs to them. As for force, I begged her not to. Marry a man I don't know. That is all." The man in uniform watched me silently. His eyes were not unkind, but they were tired. He had heard too many stories. "We will need you to come to the station tomorrow," the man in the suit said, "to give your statement." Neighbors' doors were half open now. Faces were watching. I felt naked. Is this really from my daughter?" I asked, my voice breaking. "Yes," he said. "She and her husband came personally." "Her husband?" "That man. He had not only taken my daughter and my gold, now he wanted to take my honor too." After they left, I closed the door and slid down to the floor. I had never felt so humiliated in my life. To be accused of abuse, of greed, of stealing from my own child, by the child I had protected with my whole being. The next day, I put on my plain black abaya and my scarf. Yusuf wanted to come with me, but I told him to stay with Mariam. I will handle it, I said. I don't want you to see your mother answering questions like a criminal. At the station, they asked me many things. I answered slowly, with as much dignity as I could keep. No, I never hit my daughter. No, I never forced her to talk to suitors. No, I do not have hidden money. They looked at my hands, rough, my shoes, old. One officer finally said quietly to the other, "Do you think a woman like this is hiding a fortune?" I wanted to laugh and cry at the same time. In the end, there was no real case. We had little. What little we had was not enough to fight over in the law's eyes. They said these were family problems. They advised me to be more understanding of my daughter. They advised her, later, to respect her mother. Advice, that was all. But the damage was done. My name had been written on a complaint paper as an abuser, a thief. By my own child. When I came home that day, I went straight to my room. I closed the door and sat on the bed. I do not know how long I stayed like that. Long enough for the daylight to become night. Long enough for my tears to dry on my cheeks. At some point, my phone buzzed. A message from Lena. "I had to do it, Mama," it said. "Omar said if I don't fight for my rights now, I will regret it later. You don't understand how the world works. I'm sorry if it hurt you, but I am hurt too. You never supported my happiness. You never accepted my husband. You pushed me away. You made me feel unwanted. So please, don't contact me anymore. Don't call me. Don't message me. I need to live my life without your guilt. Maybe one day, when you realize what you did, we can talk. For now, you are dead to me. Dead to me." She had written the words I had refused to say. I stared at the screen until the letters blurred. In that moment, something inside me broke. Not my love for her that stubbornly refused to die, but something else. My idea that if you sacrifice enough, love always comes back. That if you give and give, no child can ever truly turn their back on you. I realized then, love is not a business. Children are not debts that must be paid back. Sometimes you give your whole heart and it is stepped on. I put the phone down. I went to the sink. I made wudu. My hands were shaking as the water ran over them. I stood on my prayer mat. Allahu Akbar. In sujud, I felt the weight of my whole life pressing me into the ground. Ya Allah, I whispered into the carpet. You took my husband. Now, you have taken my daughter, even though she is still alive somewhere. You have exposed me to strangers. You have written this test for me. I am tired, so tired, but I will not complain about you. I will complain only to you. Give me sabr. Give me a heart that forgives, even when it is not asked. And please, if this man is bad for her, if he made her do all this, then show her his real face. Not because I want to see her suffer, but because I want her to wake up, even if it breaks her soul first. I did not know that I was, in a way, making dua for what would happen in the years to come. That day was the day everything truly changed. After her message, Lena cut me off from her life. She blocked my number. She blocked me on every possible way of contact. I heard about her only through the thin threads of gossip and chance. She moved to another area. She is working somewhere now. I saw her in the market. She looked different. Each piece of news was a knife and a bandage at the same time. At least she was alive. At least she was not completely vanished. Years passed. Yusuf married. Mariam finished school. My hair became more white than black. My hands shook when I poured tea. My knees screamed when I climbed stairs. But the pain of that message, "You are dead to me," never fully left. It sat in a corner of my heart like a stone that refused to dissolve. I thought many times, maybe I will die before ever seeing her again. I imagined my janazah. I imagined her hearing the news from someone on the street. I imagined her crying and saying, "I should have gone back. I did not know that Allah had written something else." He had written that one gray afternoon, 10 years after she walked out of my life, she would stand again at my door, knock with a shaking hand, and say, "Assalamu alaikum, Mama. I came to ask for your forgiveness." But before that, Allah had written for her a long road of pain, a road where every step she took away from me would come back to her in a way she never expected. What she did to me, life would do to her. Some people call that karma. I call it the justice of Allah. When I opened the door that gray afternoon, it felt like the past and the present were standing together in my hallway. You already know the first moment. Her face, her eyes, her voice saying, "Assalamu alaikum, Mama." But there is something I did not tell you before. After the first shock faded, after my heart remembered how to beat again, my eyes moved, and I saw a small shape half hiding behind her. A little boy. He was maybe 8 or 9, thin. His clothes were clean but old. His hair was too long, falling into his eyes. Those eyes, big, dark, full of fear and curiosity at the same time. He held the edge of Lena's abaya with one small hand, like he was holding on to a boat in the middle of the sea. Our eyes met. He looked at me as if asking silently, "Are you safe, or are you another storm?" Lena followed my gaze, then gently pulled him a little forward. "This is Sami," she said, her voice trembling. "Your grandson." My grandson. The word hit me in a different way than "dead to me" had hit me years before. It was like my heart, which had turned into a dry, cracked land, suddenly felt rain again. A child, a piece of my blood, a piece of my Lena, he whispered, almost too quietly to hear. "Assalamu alaikum, Grandma." My throat closed. For a moment, no one moved. The hallway was heavy with all the words we had not said for 10 years. Then my hand let go of the door, and I stepped back. "Wa alaikum assalam," I managed to say. "Come in." They entered slowly, as if stepping onto holy ground. The house was the same and not the same. The same small sofa, the same old table, the same curtains, but the air felt different, thicker, full of ghosts. Lena looked around with wet eyes. "Nothing has changed," she whispered. I wanted to say, "Everything has changed," but my voice would not obey. "Sit," I said instead, pointing to the sofa. She sat on the edge, too straight, like a guest who is not sure she is welcome. The boy sat close to her, almost on her lap. He kept looking from my face to hers, trying to read the story between us. I stood for a moment, not knowing what to do with my hands. Then, because I am a woman and a mother, and when my heart is confused my body goes to the kitchen, I said, "I'll make tea." In the kitchen, my legs shook. I put the kettle on the stove. The flame lit up. The sound of gas and fire filled the silence. My hands moved by habit. Water, sugar, tea leaves. The smell of cardamom rose, the same smell that had filled this house when Lena was young. I held the edge of the counter and closed my eyes. "Ya Allah," I whispered, "you brought her back to my door. You know what is in my heart. Don't let me speak from anger. Don't let me humiliate her. Don't let my tongue destroy what maybe you are trying to fix." I took a deep breath and carried the tray to the living room. Lena stood up quickly when she saw me, as if she was going to take the tray from my hands, then stopped herself, unsure if she had that right anymore. I put the tray down. We all sat. No one touched the tea. Finally, Lena spoke. "Mama," she said, and her voice broke on the word. I know I am the last person who has the right to sit here. I know you have every reason to shut the door in my face, to tell me to leave, to tell me I am not your daughter." Tears were already running down her cheeks. Sami looked up at her, confused, his small hand patting her arm like he was used to seeing her cry. "I did horrible things to you," she continued. "I spoke to you in ways that no child should ever speak to a parent. I accused you of things you never did. I went to strangers and wrote your name as if you were an enemy. I cut you off. I left you alone. And then I disappeared for 10 years. Every word was a stone falling between us." I sat very still. She took a shaky breath. "I thought I was strong," she said. "I thought I was free. I thought I was clever, choosing my own life. I thought Omar would protect me, love me, respect me more than you ever did. I thought I was escaping a prison." She laughed bitterly, wiping her face. "I did not know I was walking into a real one." She finally looked straight at me. "I came today," she whispered, "to say something I should have said a long time ago. I am sorry, Mama. I am so sorry. Not because life hit me and now I need you, not only because of that, but because I finally see what I did. I finally see you, and I cannot breathe anymore with this guilt. I came to ask, can you forgive me?" Her words hung in the air. Sami was staring at me now, his eyes wide. I felt thousands of days and nights, thousands of prayers, thousands of tears pressing against my chest, trying to come out as words. But nothing came. I stood up. "I need a moment," I said. I walked slowly to my bedroom and closed the door behind me. Inside, I leaned against the wall, my heart beating like a drum. This was the moment, you see, the moment many people dream about. The child who hurt you comes back. The one who left you comes and says, "I was wrong." In dreams, it is easy to say, "Of course I will forgive. I am not cruel." In real life, there is something else. A voice that says, "Now she knows how it feels. Now you can make her pay, make her beg, make her suffer a little more." I will not lie to you. That voice was in me too. I remembered the night I came home from the police station, feeling like dirt. I remembered the message where she wrote, "You are dead to me." I remembered Eid days when I sat alone, watching other mothers with their daughters, pretending I was not looking. My hands curled into fists. "Ya Allah," I whispered. "You are Adil, the just. You are also Al-Ghafur, the most forgiving. I am your servant. I am weak. I want justice and revenge. But I also want your mercy. Help me choose what you love. Help me forgive, not because she deserves it, but because I want you to forgive me." A verse came to my mind, one I had read so many times. Let them pardon and forgive. Do you not love that Allah should forgive you? I sat on the edge of the bed, my body heavy with years. Then I thought of death. How many of us leave this world with words of anger still in our mouths? With doors closed that could have been opened? With hearts hard that could have been soft? If I died tonight, did I want my last act to be slamming the door in my daughter's face? I stood up. I wiped my own tears. I opened my bedroom door and walked back to the living room. Lena and Sami were sitting exactly where I left them. Her head was bowed, his little hand was still on her arm. When she heard me, she looked up quickly, her eyes red. I sat down opposite her. "Lena," I said quietly, "look at me." She did. Her face was full of fear, like a child waiting for a punishment. "I cannot pretend the last 10 years did not happen," I said slowly. "I cannot erase the words you said, the papers you signed, the nights I cried. I cannot act as if you just went to the market and came back late. My heart is not a door you can slam and open without any marks." Her lip trembled. "I know," she whispered. "I know, Mama. I don't expect—" I lifted my hand. "But," I said, "I also cannot pretend you are not my daughter. I cannot erase the day you were born, the nights I held you when you were sick, the years you were my right hand. I cannot erase the dua I made for you every single night, even when you said I was dead to you." Her eyes overflowed again. "So listen to me well," I continued, my own voice shaking now. "I forgive you, Lena. For the sake of Allah, I forgive you for the lies, the accusations, the stolen gold, the harsh words. I forgive you for leaving me. I forgive, but—" I paused. "But trust," I said quietly. "Trust is not the same as forgiveness. Trust takes time. We cannot fix 10 years in one day. We will need patience. You will need to show with actions, not just words, that you have changed. Can you understand that?" She nodded fast, tears falling onto her hands. "Yes," she whispered. "Yes, Mama. Anything. I will do anything. Just don't turn me away." A sob came out of her chest. She fell forward, her head near my knees. "I have nowhere else to go," she cried. "No one. Everyone left. Everyone. Only you are left." Sami watched, his face pale. Then he slowly slid off the sofa, came closer, and put his small hand on my knee. "Please don't be angry with Mama," he said in a tiny voice. "She cries at night. She says, 'I hurt my mother. Allah is angry with me.' She tells me, 'If Grandma forgives me, maybe Allah will forgive me. Please, Grandma, I don't want Allah to be angry with my Mama.'" My heart broke into 1,000 pieces. I reached out and touched his hair. "What is your name again?" I asked gently, though I had heard it. "Sami," he whispered. I took a deep breath. "Come here, both of you," I said. Lena lifted her head slowly. Her face was wet and swollen. I opened my arms. They moved into them, mother and child, my child and her child. I held them both. We cried, all 3 of us, our tears mixed, old and new pain washing together. In that moment, in that small living room, with the smell of cold tea and old furniture, Allah gave us something that no court, no money, no words could buy: another chance. That night, Lena and Sami stayed. I found some clean sheets. I made the old bed in the spare room where Yusuf used to sleep before he married and moved out. The room smelled a little dusty. I opened the window. "You can sleep here," I told them. "It's not much, but it's safe." Fit in 2 small bags. Before sleeping, I said, "It's almost Maghrib. Come, let us pray together." We stood side by side, 3 generations. Allahu Akbar. When I went into sujood, I heard Lena's sobbing next to me. Her forehead was pressed to the same ground where I had cried for her for 10 years. After we finished, she stayed sitting, her hands raised. She whispered her dua out loud, not everything, but some words slipped between her tears. "Ya Allah, forgive me. Ya Allah, forgive my mother. Ya Allah, forgive me for what I did to her. Ya Allah, don't let me die while she is angry with me. Don't take her from me now that I found her again. Please, please, don't." I watched her from the side. The daughter who once said, "You are dead to me," now begging Allah not to let me die angry with her. Sometimes, the hardest punishments are not fire, not sickness, not hunger. Sometimes, the hardest punishment is to see yourself clearly. Over the next days, the story came out slowly. She did not tell me everything the first night. Shame is a thick wall. Pride is a stubborn lock. But bit by bit, as we washed dishes together, as we folded laundry, as we sat with tea after Isha, the truth unfolded. At first, she said, Omar was not as good as I thought, but he tried. Then later, she said, he had a difficult childhood. Then, one night, when the lights were low and the world was quiet, she told me more. Mama, she began, staring at her hands, do you remember how I used to say you were controlling, that you didn't let me live my life, that you were trapping me in this house? Yes, I said. I remember every word. She winced. Well, she said, what I thought was control from you was nothing compared to what came after. She told me how, in the first months after the secret marriage, Omar had been sweet. Over-sweet. He bought me things with the gold money, she said, perfume, clothes, shoes. He told me, see, I can give you more than your mother ever did. You made the right choice, my love. And I believed him. I thought I had won some kind of battle. Her face twisted. But soon, the money ran out, she continued. He lost one job, then another. They are jealous of me, he would say. They don't like smart people. He sat at home a lot. He played on his phone. He went out with friends and came back late, smelling of smoke and sometimes alcohol. When I asked, he would shout, I am your husband, not your prisoner. Stop questioning me like I'm a child. You are just like your mother. I felt something sharp in my chest. He used your name like an insult, she whispered. He would say, if you don't shut up, I'll take you back to your mother and leave you there. See if she wants a used daughter. Her eyes filled with tears. I was pregnant with Sami then, she said. I was sick, throwing up, tired. I wanted my mother. I wanted you. But he kept saying, your mother is our enemy. She wants to destroy our happiness. She wants you to beg her. If you call her, she will laugh at you. And I believed him. I didn't want to give you that victory. My pride, my stupid pride, was bigger than my need. There it was, karma. She had made me the enemy in her mind. Now she was living with a man who used that same lie to keep her under his control. She told me about the complaint paper, too. It was his idea, she said, shame burning on her cheeks. He said, your mother is hiding money from you. She is using you. If you don't fight for your rights, you are stupid. I didn't want to, I cried. But he shouted, he said, if you love me, you will do it. Or maybe your mother is more important than me. I was scared of losing him. I thought I owed him loyalty for leaving you. So I signed. I told myself, it's just a paper. No one will really hurt her. I didn't think how much it would hurt you. I closed my eyes, letting the pain wash over me again. Why didn't you stop then? I asked softly. Why didn't you look at him and say, this is wrong? Because, she whispered, I was already deep in my choice. When you dig a hole, sometimes you keep digging because you don't know how to climb out. After Sami was born, things got worse. Omar didn't work for almost a year, she said. He said jobs were unfair, bosses were bad, the government was to blame. He took loans in my name, credit cards. He sold things from the house when I was at the market. If I cried, he said, you wanted freedom. This is freedom. You are free to suffer with me. He began to hit her too. At first it was just pushing, she said quietly. a hard grip on my arm, throwing something near me. Then once, when Sami was crying and I was too slow to calm him, he slapped me. I was so shocked, I laughed. I said, "Did you just hit me?" He looked at his hand like it belonged to someone else. He said, "You made me. If you didn't nag, I wouldn't." Later, he cried. He said he was sorry. He bought me cheap flowers. I forgave him. I told myself, he is stressed. The second time, he did not apologize. The third time, he blamed her. The fourth time, he didn't even look back. "You know what hurt most?" she asked, her voice hollow. "Not the hits. The words. He called me useless. He said I was lucky he accepted a poor girl with no father. He said I should be grateful anyone married me at all. Those words, they ate me from the inside. I thought of the words she had thrown at me. You just want me to be your servant. You don't want me to be happy. This is your prison, not my home." Now someone else was throwing worse words at her. "He cheated on me too," she said later, staring at the wall. "Different girls. Some I met, some I only saw messages from. When I cried, he laughed. He said, 'Men are like this. Stop being dramatic.' I wanted to leave so many times, but where would I go? I had burned my bridge to you. I had told the world you were bad. How could I come back and say, I was wrong?" Her voice became bitter. "Sarah, the friend who told me I deserved better than this small house?" She snorted. She disappeared the moment my life became difficult. Her nice car and fancy clothes, gone. She married a man from her level. I was entertainment for her, a story, not a sister. Years passed for her too. She worked in small jobs, sewing, cleaning, answering phones, sometimes hiding bruises with makeup, sometimes walking with her head down so neighbors would not see her shame. She thought of coming back to me many times. "I used to stand at the end of our street," she said, 2 or 3 times a year. "I would look at this building. I would see your window. Sometimes I saw your shadow. I would cry and walk away. I was too coward to ring the bell." What finally broke her was not one big thing. It was many small ones. One day he said, "I'm done with you." Another woman was in the picture, younger, with a living father, with money. "He divorced me with one word," she said, just like that, in the kitchen, while I was making tea. "You are divorced." I laughed because I thought he was joking. He wasn't. He packed his bag. He took his phone. He left. He left me and Sammy in a house with 3 months of unpaid rent. "She tried to work more," the landlord shouted. "So many times," she whispered, "I heard the same words I once threw at you. Leave. This is not your home anymore." Finally, she lost the house. She slept for a while on a friend's sofa, then in a room with 3 other divorced women and their children. "In that place," she said, "I saw all kinds of stories. Women beaten half to death. Women thrown out like garbage. Women whose own parents said, 'Don't come back.' I realized something. You never closed your door. I closed mine." She got sick then, a fever that did not go away. In the small clinic bed, half awake, half dreaming, she said she saw something. "I saw you, Mama," she whispered. "You were praying. Your lips were moving, but I couldn't hear the words. I tried to come to you, but my feet were stuck in mud. I woke up shaking. I knew if I died like that, with you hurt because of me, with Allah angry at me for how I treated you, my grave would be dark." She looked at me then, her eyes big with old fear. "So I swallowed my pride," she said. "I took Sami's hand. I came here. Every step to this door was heavy. I almost turned back 3 times. but something pushed me. Maybe your dua. Maybe. Or maybe it was Allah's mercy finally catching up with her. As I listened, many feelings fought inside me. Pain for what she had done. Pity for what she had suffered. Anger for the man who used her. Fear for the mistakes I might have made too. Yes, I made mistakes. I told her one night, when the moonlight came in through the window. Maybe I spoke too harshly sometimes. Maybe I didn't listen enough. Maybe I let my fear of this world speak louder than my trust in Allah. I am not an angel, Lena. I am just a tired woman who tried her best with what she knew. She shook her head, tears on her face. Don't do that, she said. Don't carry my sins too. You warned me. You begged me. You cried for me. I slapped your heart away. What happened to me is from my choices, not from you. Please, don't clean me with your blame. Let me feel my own dirt. For the first time in many years, we were honest with each other. No pride, no performance, no shows for neighbors. Just two women, broken in different ways, trying to build something new from old pieces. Sammy helped more than he knew. His laughter filled the house again. His small feet ran on the same tiles where Lena once ran. His school books lay open on the table where she once did her homework. Sometimes, when I watched him sleeping, I saw her baby face on his. I felt that Allah, in His strange mercy, had given me a second chance to be a grandmother, even if my time as a mother had been cut and bruised. Lena tried to make up for lost years. She woke early to help me in the kitchen. She massaged my knees at night. She brought my medicine without being asked. She would come and kiss my head randomly. "Mama," she would say, "forgive me again. I know I say it every day, but my heart is still heavy." "Enough," I would answer, touching her cheek. "If you keep digging your guilt, you will never heal. Allah forgives when we repent. I forgave you. Now you must forgive yourself too." She started to pray more regularly. She fasted extra days. She went to Quran classes at the masjid. Sometimes she would rush home, eyes bright like when she was young, and say, "Mama, today I learned a new surah. Listen," and then recite beautifully. She got a small job near the house, not a big career, but honest work. She would bring me her pay envelope and say, "This is for the house, for rent, for bills. Let me help you like you once helped me." I did not want to take her money. I knew she needed it too. But then I remembered something. Accepting help can also be a mercy. It allows the other person to earn reward, to feel dignity. So I took a little and said, "The rest, save it in your own box." This time, with my dua. Our home was still small, our furniture still old. But now, there was a warmth inside that no rich living room can buy. Sometimes, when Lena and I sat together drinking tea, she would suddenly say, "Mama, do you remember that day I shouted that this house was a prison? I would give anything now to go back and slap that girl." How blind I was. I would smile sadly. "We all say foolish things when we think we know everything." I would tell her, "Youth is like that. It runs before it asks where it is going." "Do you ever wish you had married again?" she asked me one day. "Maybe another man would have helped you. Maybe you would have been less alone." I thought about it. "Maybe," I said, "but maybe then your lives would have been harder in other ways. A stepfather is not always kind. I chose my loneliness so you wouldn't suffer. In the end, you suffered anyway, but in a different story. That is Qadr, my daughter. We cannot rewrite it. We can only walk through it with as much faith as we can hold." She laid her head in my lap like she used to when she was a child. "I don't deserve you," she whispered. "No child deserves their mother," I answered softly. "And no mother deserves her child." Both are gifts from Allah. Sometimes He gives, sometimes He takes. Sometimes He returns what He took, but changed. One evening, Sami came home from school looking serious. "Grandma," he said, "our teacher talked about being good to parents, about how Jannah is under a mother's feet." He looked between me and Lena. "So if I am good to you," he asked me, "I get Jannah?" "Insha'Allah," I smiled. "If you are good to your mother and to me, and you worship Allah well, Jannah will be very close to you." He bit his lip. "What about Mama?" he asked. "If she is good to you now, will Allah forgive how she was before?" Lena's eyes filled with tears again. I put my hand on his head. "Allah's door is bigger than all our mistakes," I said. "If she is sincere, if she really changed, if she keeps doing good, then yes, Allah can turn 10 years of darkness into light in one moment." Lena whispered, "Ameen," like a plea. In those moments, I felt something inside me heal too. I had carried not only 22-3, pain, but also anger, resentment, questions. Slowly, as we lived together, as I saw her humility, her regret, her new faith, those heavy things began to leave me. Sometimes, late at night, I would sit alone after everyone slept. I would think of Omar. I did not ask too much about where he was now. It did not matter. He was a test that had passed. I heard once, from someone who heard from someone, that he had remarried again and was now divorced again, that he was in trouble for money, that his own mother was tired of his behavior. For a small moment, when I heard that, I felt a dark satisfaction. Then I remembered, if I enjoy another person's humiliation, even if they hurt my child, what makes me different from them? So I made dua for him too. "Ya Allah," I whispered, "guide him, or deal with him in your justice. Keep him away from us. Don't let his poison return. But also, don't let hate sit in my heart for him. I don't want to carry him into my grave." Peace, I learned, is not when your enemies fall. Peace is when your heart no longer wants to watch. Now, when I look back at my life, I see it like a long road with many stones. I see myself as a young bride, laughing in a small kitchen. I see myself as a new mother, holding a baby I named Lena. I see myself as a widow, pressing my hand to my chest at my husband's grave. I see myself as a broken mother, reading a message that said, "You are dead to me." I see myself as an old woman, opening a door to find her lost child and a new grandchild. If you ask me, would you live it again? I would say, no. If you ask me, would you erase the pain? I would say, maybe not. Because somewhere between the first cry of my baby and the last tears of my old eyes, I found something I did not have when I was young, a deep, quiet peace with Allah's plan. You see, if Lena had never left, maybe she would have kept that pride forever, hidden but alive. Maybe she would have always thought, my mother is my prison. Maybe she would have respected me on the sane outside, but judged me on the inside. If I had forced her to stay with me, locked her in the house, cut her phone, maybe she would have broken in another, worse way. Maybe she would have run further, to places I don't even want to imagine. If her marriage had been easy, full of roses, maybe she would have never understood the value of a parent's dua, of a safe home, of simple love without conditions. And if she had never come back, maybe my heart would have hardened. Maybe I would have died angry, and my meeting with Allah would have been with a chest full of poison. Instead, Allah wrote another story. He wrote that my daughter would hurt me in ways I did not think possible. He wrote that I would taste rejection from the one I once fed with my own body. He wrote that I would sit alone on Eid, wiping my tears before opening the door to children with sweets, pretending to be fine. But he also wrote that I would never curse her, that I would, even in my worst pain, raise my hands and say, "Guide her, Ya Allah. Don't break her, don't destroy her, wake her up gently, if you can. And if not gently, then at least before death." He wrote that life itself would show her what my words could not. He wrote that the same sentences she used against me would one day feel like heavy chains around her own neck, that the same type of man she chose over me would one day treat her worse than she ever imagined. He wrote that when she came back, I would be given a choice, to be like the world or to be like the mercy. I beg from him every day. I chose mercy. Not because I am an angel, I am not. Not because I forgot the pain, I didn't. I chose mercy because I need it too. I chose to forgive my daughter because I am a daughter of someone too big to see, too kind to count, too patient to describe. One evening, not long ago, we sat together watching the sunset from the small balcony. The sky was pink and gold. Sammy was inside, drawing something. "Mama," Lena said softly, "do you think Allah has forgiven me?" I looked at her, at the lines on her young face that should not be there yet, at the white hairs slipping into her dark ones, at her hands, rough from work, not soft like the hands of other women her age. "I don't know," I said honestly. "I am not Allah. But I know this, He is more merciful to you than I am. If I, with my small heart, could forgive you, why would He, with His endless mercy, refuse you if you are sincere?" She nodded slowly, tears in her eyes. "I wish I could go back," she whispered, "to that day before I sent that message, to that day before I took your gold, to that day before I walked to the mosque and married him. I would run back home. I would throw my phone in the river. I would hold your feet." I touched her shoulder. "We cannot go back," I said. "We can only go forward, step by step, with less pride and more humility. Your past is a story, not your prison. Learn from it, but don't live in it." She leaned her head on my shoulder, and for a moment we were not old mother and adult daughter with scars between them. We were just two souls, resting. Maybe you are listening to me now as a mother who has been hurt by her child. Maybe you are listening as a child who has hurt a parent. Maybe you are in the middle, not fully innocent, not fully guilty, just human. Let me tell you something from my old heart. Revenge tastes good only for a moment, then it turns bitter in your mouth. Forgiveness does not erase what happened. It does not make wrong things right. It does not mean you must let people hurt you again. Sometimes you forgive and still keep a distance. Sometimes you forgive and open your door carefully. But forgiveness frees you. It empties your chest of rocks. It lets you sleep at night. I do not know how many days I have left. My back hurts. My eyes are weaker. Sometimes I forget why I walked into a room. Death is not far. When my time comes, I hope I will go with a lighter heart. I hope my last words will not be, "Why did she do this to me?" but "Alhamdulillah," for what you gave and what you took. Maybe Allah wanted me to lose almost everything, so I could finally find peace in Him. He took my husband early. He took my daughter for 10 years. He took my pride, my comfort, my good name in some people's eyes. But He gave me back something better. He gave me nights of sincere dua. He gave me tears that washed my heart. He gave me the ability to forgive when I did not want to. He gave me a grandson who calls me grandma and kisses my tired hands. And He gave me the chance to tell you this story, maybe so you can avoid some of my pain. Maybe so you can soften your heart before life softens it in a harder way. So now, as this story ends, I will ask you gently, if you are a child who has turned away from your parents, call them. Send a message, knock on their door, even if they were not perfect, no parent is. Raise your pain to Allah, not against them. Set boundaries if you must, but do not cut the rope completely. That rope is your rizq, your dua, your door to Jannah. And if you are a parent whose child has hurt you, insulted you, forgotten you, cry to Allah, not to people. Protect yourself, yes. Do not accept abuse, yes. But keep a small door open in your heart, even if only in your dua. You don't know which night Allah will answer. You don't know which day, after a decade, there will be a soft knock on your door. Maybe, like me, you will open it and find not only the child who left, but the person they became on the long, hard road back. If you stayed with me until this moment, thank you for listening to my voice, my pain, and my small lessons. If you feel this story touched your heart, please follow Voices of Fatima, like this video, and share it with someone who might need courage to forgive or courage to go back. Are you more like me in this story or more like Lena? Tell me in the comments. May Allah soften our hearts, mend our families, and let us all leave this world with no heavy words left unsaid. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.